Hey y'all, and welcome back to T and B's Journey. So for the next few videos, it's gonna be kind of like about us videos. And today I was like, what better day than to do an about me video? And as you all see from the title, it's gonna be about my career. So right now I'm currently in the Air Force. I've been in the Air Force for almost 4 years. I joined when I was 23. So yeah, I'm going to give you all a little bit of background about that, some of my basic training, some what I'm doing right now, some tech school. So for all of you all who are thinking about joining the Air Force, who are just like, oh, let me just see what she does for a living, or anything like that, make sure you all stay tuned, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. And if you all want to see more Air Force videos, just let me know maybe. So for starters, I joined when I was 23. The process did take a little while. I took almost a year. So you go into the DEP program and then you take the ASVAB. Once you take the ASVAB, they wait for you to find a job. I work in mental health and I knew that I wanted to work in mental health, so I waited for that job. It took about a year to get so let's go in order from how it started. So I was in college, I had a job, I was working at Olive Garden. Before that I was working at Foot Locker, and I was just tired of being in Louisiana. I was like, okay, I'm ready to go. Once I finish school, like, I'm leaving Louisiana. So I went ahead and got the process started and whatever. When I got in there, the day I walked into the DEP office, I knew nothing about what to expect. I would just walked in, I had on some knee-high boots, a black blazer, some black tights, and I had my hair. I remember I had just went and got a silk wrap because I was like, okay, it's supposed to be like an interview, so let me like be dressed up or whatever. So I get in there, and the guy, the recruiter, he was like, hi, and I was like, hello, like, I'm here, I want to join the Air Force or whatever. And he was like, okay. And so he gave me some paperwork and he was like, come back and let me know if you're still interested. And so I looked, I was like doing some research and whatever, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'm still interested. It couldn't be anything. So the next time that I came to meet up with them, they were doing PT, which is like physical fitness. So they were doing PT, and I was like, okay, so I have to do this. I was pretty fit, but as I was coming, I was seeing people like running around the building and they were throwing up and stuff, and I was like, ooh, this might not be as easy as I think. So yeah, so DEP, I had to do all that. I had to take the ASVAB, which wasn't bad because I was in college, so like a lot of the stuff was like stuff you learned in high school. So I had to take the ASVAB. If you all had more questions about that, let me know too, and I can do some Q&As. So yeah, just link any questions you all have below and I will answer them. So yeah, I did the ASVAB. My scores were really good. I got the job I wanted. I ended up going to MEPS, and that's an overnight program where an overnight, I don't know. It's just an overnight stay where you go and you do your physical fitness. It's kind of like a physical that you go do. So before you can leave, you have to go to MEPS, and that's what I did. I went to MEPS. I finished everything. I was good to go, and then I went home, and then after that, you go to MEPS again before you leave. My MEPS was in New Orleans, so it wasn't too far away. I got all that taken care of. It was pretty quick. But MEPS is not always that easy for everyone. There were people who were crying, who were just having a hard time. So like I said, like, just go in, give it your all, and whatever happens, happens. But it was a pretty quick experience for me. After that, I got my departure date. That was probably one of the hardest things. So I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually joining the Air Force. I mean, I knew what I was signing up for, but I was like, oh, this is really happening. So yeah, my family came down. At the time, Travantes was still at Auburn, so he didn't get to come down. So my family had came down or whatever. It was pretty emotional, but it was okay. Like, I was like, it's only gonna be 8 weeks and then I'll be back home or whatever. So that happened. On to basic training. So basic training, I think it just depends on what type of person you are. Basic training wasn't too bad for me. I was like, okay, like, we're gonna get this done. We have 8 weeks. Yeah. There was a lot to learn in basic training though. It was a lot that I did not know and I didn't expect. Like, one time I was sitting at the table and I had my feet crossed. Matter of fact, I have a couple of story times about basic training, but for the informational purposes, basic training lasted me 8 weeks. We got, I think, a total of 4 calls, 3 or 4 phone calls, which wasn't bad because if you're getting letters all the time, make sure you give your addresses. That's what made my days go by quicker, having people mail me letters. So like Trente would write me, my sister would write me, Sarah would write me, my mom and dad. Like, I had people that were writing me every day, so it made things a lot easier. So when you do go to basic training, make sure you give your address. On the first day, they'll give you like this piece of paper and you just put it in the mail and it's just of your address. So make sure you give your address because it makes things go by pretty quick. And also make good friends in basic training. I made some great friends in basic training, some friends that I am still friends with today. Matter of fact, they came to my wedding and everything. So make sure you find your group. When you find your group, it makes things a lot easier also. You're not going to always get along with everybody, so find friends that you can get along with. One of my friends, actually, she is from Louisiana as well, my friend Brandy. So we still talk. My friend Jasmine, me and her in the same career field, so we still talk. So they can be lifelong friends, you never know. So go in there with the open mind, make friends, talk to people that you wouldn't normally talk to, meet friends from all around the world. You know, you have to become travel buddies or take vacations together. You never know. So that is something good that came out of basic training. Not to sugarcoat it, basic training could be trying at times if you have a closed mind and if you're just like, oh, I'm just ready to go. We had fun. We would sing, we would dance, like, you know, like when we had our little bit of free time, we had a good time. So I will say that if you meet the right friends and make the best of it, because I had fun. Basic training, it was trying. We did learn a lot. We did have to wake up very early and had to go to bed very early. The food wasn't bad to me. So some people say, oh no, it's so disgusting. It wasn't bad to me. Like I said, I have a story time on when I was in basic training, when I got in trouble for having my feet crossed at the table. Actually, every incident I had was something with food. So yeah, when I was in basic training, I also got in trouble because I had got salt in my eye. So I'll tell my funniest Air Force moments. I'll make another video, or yeah, no, at the end of this video. So make sure you stay tuned. At the end of this video, I'll put in my funniest Air Force moments. What else? So yeah, basic training lasts 8 weeks, and then after the 8 weeks, you get to see your family, and then you go on to tech school. Now, tech school was really fun. The only downside of tech school is you get your cell phones, but you can't take your cell phones into class with you. So when you're, so throughout the day, you can't have your phone, and you know, you're kind of like, oh, I've been without my phone for 8 weeks. Like, I wouldn't be able to talk to who I want to be able to talk to. You can't. So you have your phone once you get out of tech school up until the next day. Weekends, you have your phone. I was in Texas, so I really enjoyed it. I was still close to family. Depending on where your job is, that is where your tech school is gonna be. So yeah, tech school was really fun. I met people from different services. You know, I still have my friend Jasmine. So me and her, we pretty much had our whole beginning to when we got our base. Within like 3 weeks, I knew where I was going, and that was the biggest shocker to me. So when I had so you make a dream sheet when you go to MEPS. You make a dream sheet while you're in basic training of all the places you would want to go. So on my dream sheet, I had Louisiana, I had Florida, I had Georgia, I had California, I had Texas, and I think I had New York. So I was like, okay, they're gonna put it in order of how I have it. And my first place was Georgia. And so I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to go to Georgia. Like, I'm gonna be on Warner Robins. I can't wait. Like, I'll be closer to Travantes, because at this point we weren't engaged. We were just like friends. So I was like, I'll be closer to him. Next thing I know, I open my email and it says California. I was like, what did I do? I had never been to the West Coast. I had lived in the South most of my life. I was like, I can't believe I'm going to California. And I had so many mixed emotions. I was like, oh yay, you know, like Southern California. No. I was like, I'm gonna be so close from home. Like, so it was like so many emotions going through me. But there is an opportunity to where you can trade your bases. Now, nobody had a base that I wanted until right before I was leaving, and it has to be within a certain window of time. So nobody that was in my window of time had a base until I was getting ready to leave. And this girl was like, oh, I'm so mad I have to go to Moody. Like, I wanted to go back to the West Coast. And I was like, are you serious? Like, I would have loved to go to Georgia. Like, what do you mean? When you get to tech school, make sure you mingle and network, because this girl was literally one class ahead of me, which means me and her could have switched, but we didn't mingle, and we both wanted what each other had. So, but like they say, everything happens for a reason. So then I was in tech school for 3 months, and then after tech school, you can take leave to go home, or you can either do rap. I didn't do rap because where I went to my recruiter was 3 hours from where my parents lived. So I was like, I'm not gonna do this. Like, I'll just take leave. So I took 2 weeks of leave before I headed to California. Me and my dad drove to California, and yeah, so it was a pretty long drive from Louisiana to California. It's a long drive, but we drove here. And now I'm in the Air Force. Like I said, I'm working in mental health. I love my job. It's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a social worker, so it kind of gets my feet wet. With my plans on staying in the military, right now I'm not sure. I'm just going with the wind, and we'll see what happens from there. So yeah, that's my career. That's what I do. I'm in the Air Force. I work in mental health. I wear the uniform. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, instead of a turn up session for this video, unlike my other videos, I'm gonna tell you all some funny stories that happened to me while being in the Air Force. So my first story was when I was at basic training, and I don't even remember what week it was, but it had to be maybe like 4th or 5th week, and I was in the dining hall. So you're supposed to have your feet flat, and for some reason I crossed my ankles, and this MTI, and so an MTI is the military training instructors, and they're the people who basically are your instructors for the whole time you're there. So this MTI, he came up to me and he said, your feet are bothering me. And I just looked down and I just slowly uncrossed them. But everybody at the table just looked at me, and we wanted to laugh so bad because of the way he said it. He was just like, your feet are bothering me. And I was just like, okay, got it. So I just slowly undid my feet. The next story I have was we had, so I'm trying to see how I can explain this. So we had dinner. We'll start there. We had dinner, and I don't know how I got salt under my nails, but I ended up getting salt under my nails, and I was like, okay, like whatever. So after that, we had went outside, and I ended up wiping my eye, and I got salt in my eye. My eye started itching really, really bad, and I guess I didn't really comprehend that we weren't supposed to be moving. It was maybe like the 3rd day, and we're supposed to be moving. I scratched my eye. When I tell you that MTI ran up on me and he was like, you have no respect, you're disrespectful. And I'm just like, huh? I was like, I itched my eye. He was like, you do not move, you stand still. And he was like, when you get back up to your room, you pack your bags and you're out of here. And I was like, okay. So like, I was like, okay, so I'm done. Then when I get back upstairs, he was like, you get in the formation, da da da. So I was confused. I was like, am I done? Or am I still staying? Like, I was really confused, but I just went with the flow. And the last funny story from basic training was we were marching. So you're supposed to march like, ooh, sorry. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna just do it right here so you guys can see. So you're supposed to go dun 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 dun. I'm a horrible marcher, so you're supposed to march dun dun dun. So instead, I was marching with the same arm. So I would be like dun dun dun. So this was like right before we were getting ready to leave. I was probably in like 7th week. But like, I was tired, I was just missing my family, and I was ready to go. So I feel like I was doing everything wrong. And that day, my MTI came to me and he was like, you want to go back to week 1? You want to go back to week 1? You haven't learned anything yet? And I was like, I don't want to go back, I want to go home. So then he was like, is everything okay? And I was like, yes. Like, I was like, oh, I'm just really sad. So I had like a breakdown or whatever. And I was so embarrassed, but I was just so tired. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know. Like, my mind was just everywhere. So yeah, like, those are just some things that happened to me. As far as being active in the Air Force, there have been so many crazy stories and so many fun times that I can't even begin to tell all of my story times. Maybe I'll have to make a mashup of like funny things that happened to me. But yeah, there's so many. And like I said, the Air Force, there's good, there's bad. It just depends. Some frequently asked questions that I get are, do you fly planes? I've never flown a plane, ever. I work at a desk. I work in mental health. I don't fly planes. I don't. So for the record, I don't fly planes, okay? Not me. I'm actually scared of heights. So I don't think I could ever fly planes. Another question I get all the time from people who aren't in the military. Are you in the Army? No. I'm not in the Army. I'm in the Air Force. So that's another one. Oh, and this question I get a lot as well. Like, I don't know why people think like military girls can't be girly or like can't like wear makeup and stuff. Like, when I tell people I'm in the Air Force, they're like, oh, you're allowed to wear makeup or you're allowed to wear fake nails and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, we can do all that. We're allowed to do all that. So those are a couple questions that I get all the time when I tell family or friends that don't know too much about the military. Those are some questions I get. And another thing, we are not rich. I don't know why people, when you say you're in the military, they're like, oh, you got that money. I'm like, no, I'm not rich. I'm not rich, okay? I'm not rich. Not at all. Okay? All right. So yeah, that's just a little bit about who I am and what my job is. So like I said, if you want to hear more stories about this or just more stories about who we are in general, let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell us in the comments what you all want to see. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. My next video is gonna be on my HBCU experience. So make sure you all watch that. If you've attended a HBCU, let me know what you all thought of it. If you haven't and you're thinking about it, let me know which ones you're thinking about attending. Let's chat. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Peace from the Air Force. Oh, that was corny. Bye y'all.